This is a fan-generated show. If you would like to support us, please go to jamieglazov.com, and also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. All your support is greatly appreciated.
Hello, this is the Anne-Marie Waters moment, brought to you by the Glazov Gang, and I'm going to take this moment to talk to you about Europe, or more specifically about this darkness that has descended over Europe in the last couple of years. Not that you would know anything about it if you listened only to the mainstream media, because according to the BBC, for example, nothing at all of any significance is happening in Europe. They really must go out of their way to find ridiculous trivialities to distract us with. But what is happening in Europe is this. Our leaders have allowed mass migration from countries and from societies completely and entirely incompatible with our own. They see and have seen the result of this. In Germany, for example, how many terror attacks have there been in Germany in the last couple of years? I've lost count. People have been murdered on the streets of Germany, suicide bombings, trucks driving into Christmas markets, and rape. Rape of German girls, of German children, and of German women. Mass sexual assaults at their festivals, such that this year in Cologne, many women didn't even bother to turn up. Mission accomplished. Women stay at home. The same is happening in France. Terror attacks over the last couple of years, French people butchered in the streets, French women raped in the streets, areas of France now where women can't even walk and feel safe. Our leaders continue to allow this. They hand out leaflets, bracelets saying, "Don't rape me." This is the level of regard that European leaders have for European people. The fact of the matter is that there has been a clash between the best interests of people from all over the Middle East and Africa and the best interests of the people of Europe. Our leaders have chosen to prioritise the people of the Middle East and the people of Africa over and above European people, certainly over and above European women. Sweden has become a nightmare, an absolute nightmare of epic proportions. It is now the rape capital of the Western world. Its women are afraid to go out. Around half of its women say they're afraid to go out alone at night. Again, festivals have been cancelled because women might be raped. They simply can't take the risk. And in the midst of all of this, the leaders keep the borders open. This is an extremely, extremely serious occurrence. This is what is happening in Europe now, is extremely, extremely serious. And no one seems to mind. No one seems to bother. Our politicians are talking about something else. Our media is reporting on something else. If it wasn't for the internet and the alternative media, if not for the fact that we, thanks to the internet, are now our own media, we would know absolutely nothing about this. Terror attacks are reported on, fine. But when I watched the report on the BBC into the Berlin terror attack just before Christmas, the word Islam or Islamic extremism or Islamic radicalism or even Islamism was never mentioned. When you see these attacks happening, you see them in London, in Paris, in Rome, all over Germany, in Scandinavia, they talk about it as if it's just one of those things. These things happen. There's no obvious link or connection between all these things, and if you say so, you're a racist and a bigot. We are literally living in 1984. This is what George Orwell wrote about. We are being presented with a false, fake reality by our government and our media, and the real reality is kept from us, distorted, and if you dare to point it out, you will be punished. People like myself, who continue to point out what is actually going on, continue to be labelled racists and fascists and far right. And those who call for murder and mayhem and rape and stonings and lashings and beheadings, they apparently are the victims. We are living in a world that has been turned completely upside down. The United States, Canada, Australia are not that far behind us. We watch from Europe while these countries turn in to Europe. But there is hope for the United States thanks to the election of Donald Trump. I have less hope, however, for Canada or Australia, who are rapidly travelling down the same road of rape and violence, and the media blaming it on the people who point it out. But what is really wrong here? What is really wrong here is leadership. Now, I'm told frequently that it's the end of the road for Europe. It's over for Europe. Europe will be an Islamic continent. Please don't settle into this. Please don't believe this while I understand how easy it is to believe. Europeans are still the vast, vast majority in Europe. We still have it within our power to change this, to turn it around, and to reclaim our continent and our countries, and we can do it. There are elections this year in the Netherlands, in France, and in Germany. And there are people standing in these elections who we can vote for and who will make those changes. In the Netherlands, we have the heroic Geert Wilders, a man I am honoured to have spent time with and gotten to know. He's a hero of mine. And Holland, I implore you, elect him. We need him. You know, Trump's election changed things everywhere. It gave Europeans more confidence to stand up for themselves. And I hope that that translates in the first major European election of 2017, which is in the Netherlands. In France, we have another hero of mine, or heroine of mine, Marine Le Pen, who is leading the charge to reclaim France, to keep it French, and to stand up for her own people. She has a good chance of becoming President of France, but not unless the French people vote for her. So France, get out there and vote for Marine Le Pen. In Germany, we have Alternative for Deutschland, led by a brilliant woman named Frauke Petry. I'm less optimistic for the chances for AfD in Germany, and the reasons are these. The German people have for decades been told that they are guilty. They are responsible for all sorts of evils. They are taught it in schools. In fact, in Britain, we're taught the same things in schools. But the Germans have had it particularly harsh. And they reminded, and the politicians, the duplicitous, corrupt politicians, especially Merkel, uses it every chance she gets to remind the Germans what they did, what you did. You committed the Holocaust. You caused World War II. Germany, you didn't. You have done nothing wrong. The Holocaust was caused by the Nazis then, not by the Germans now. You do not, should not, and cannot be made to pay for this crime forever. You haven't done this. Stand up for yourselves, reclaim your country, and stop this destructive guilt that is destroying you. Germany can turn this around if it votes Alternative for Germany in September. You know, we Europeans are not weak. Our generosity and kindness has been mistaken for weakness, but we are not weak. This is the continent of the Enlightenment, of the Renaissance, of great philosophers, great writers, of democracy, of secularism itself. This continent gave birth to the United States of America, to Canada, to Australia. Our children seem to be freer than we are at the moment, but we are not weak. Europe can survive. It has survived for centuries and centuries. We have battled for centuries and centuries for the civilized society that we have built today. We can still fight to save it. Now, I realise that our national pride has disappeared. Globalism and internationalists, since the end of the Second World War, have deliberately taken our nation states away from us and eroded our pride in them. Get it back. We must get it back. That is job number one. Believe in our continent. Stop focusing on the negatives. Everyone has committed crimes. Every country, every continent. But not everyone has offered and given to the world what Europe has. Let us stop looking at our crimes and look at our achievements. Pride in ourselves is the only thing that can save us. It can, and I believe that it will. So Europe, fight. You fought before, you can fight again. Reclaim our continent, reclaim our civilization, and get out in 2017 and vote. This is not over yet. Remember to support the Glazov Gang at jamieglazov.com and subscribe. Thank you. Keep fighting.